Good morning, you guys. It's your boy Bill Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. If you want more basketball content, we are returning with basketball conversations tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on this channel, you guys. Yes, I am coming back, locked and loaded with some topics for you guys. We are heading into the home stretch of the NBA postseason, so get ready for all sorts of basketball talk, predictions, and a lot of the talking points that you're going to be hearing later on tonight. Again, it is 9 p.m. Central Time right here on this channel. So, this is another episode of Morning Historical Perspective, and this is a subscriber request. So, we're going to be discussing about one of my favorite game winning shots during the Chicago Bulls dynasty period, and that goes back to 1993 of the 1993 NBA Finals, Game 6, with John Paxson hitting the big game winning shot. Certainly one of my all time favorite game winning shots of that Bulls dynasty, and certainly a huge achievement in Bulls history because with that game winning shot, the Bulls became the third team in NBA history to win three straight NBA titles. For over 21 years up to that point, no other team had achieved three straight titles in a row. There have been two other teams who achieved back-to-back titles. That was the Pistons back in 1990 and the 88 Lakers that won back-to-back. But neither of those teams have won three in a row. The Bulls already achieved back-to-back titles, so they were already in an elite class. But winning three in a row was the ultimate separator. And during that year, they were heavy underdogs from the jump to win their third straight championship. Many felt that the Knicks had the better chance of the throne of the Bulls based on how they played the previous year in that tough seven-game second round series. But the Bulls were able to overcome an 0-2 deficit to win four straight to advance back to the finals. All right. Now with Phoenix, on the other hand, they too had a good, successful season, but didn't make it to the NBA Finals the previous year, and they pulled off a massive trade, getting Charles Barkley from the Philadelphia 76ers. And it improved their team dramatically as they became the best team in the NBA record wise with basically 60 regular season victories. And Charles Barkley won the 1993 Most Valuable Player Award as he helped lead the Suns to the NBA Finals. It was at one point that the Bulls held a 3-1 lead, but they fell short in Game Five as they had an opportunity to close out the series on their home floor, but laid an egg as the Phoenix Suns came in aggressive, didn't allow Michael Jordan to get to the cup as much as he wanted, and they pushed the series back to a Game Six. All right, now we know most of the stuff that happened in the first three quarters of that game. The Bulls came out guns blazing. They were hitting threes left and right, while the Suns took a different route in their terms of the scoring. They were well known for the 3-point shooting and their spacing and putting the ball inside of Charles Barkley's hands. But most of their points at the end of that game were basically off of layups and dunks. And there was a point in the game where the Bulls were leading by as many as 11 points. Now, we fast forward to the fourth quarter. The Bulls were leading 87-79 heading into the fourth quarter. Okay, and we don't know which team the Bulls came in with, but they looked like a team that was basically was too tentative at the moment because that fourth quarter was almost like a nightmare. Okay, now to put this in proper perspective, okay, the Bulls started out the fourth quarter 0 for 8 from the field. All right, they couldn't buy a shot, and they were they were spending a lot of the shot clock trying to find an open shot, but they took too much time to get into their triangle offense, and because of that, the clock ran out against them, and they were forced to take desperation shots, and they had like at least 2 to 3 shot clock violations in that fourth quarter, and the Phoenix Suns took advantage of that. They came back, they took the lead. They basically took the lead in the fourth quarter. Once Jordan came in, he was pretty much the sole offense in that fourth quarter because the rest of the Bulls up to that point were not scoring. Were not scoring. Neither Pippen, Grant, Armstrong, or even Cartwright had a bucket in the fourth quarter. To put this in proper perspective, guys, okay, Michael Jordan scored all 9 points for the Bulls in the fourth quarter. Okay, he was pretty much the lonely man scoring on the other end while Barkley was making shots, Dan Marley was making shots, and Kevin Johnson was making shots. They were very determined to force the series to a seventh and deciding game. And if that would have been the case, we don't know. Anything can happen in a game seven. All right. And Michael and his team knew that they had to close out the series one way or another. All right. So when they were up 98-94, with just about a minute remaining. Okay. So the Suns worked the ball and they gave the reserve point guard Frank Johnson an elbow jumper that's normally his shot, but he probably was the one guy you didn't want to take the shot late in the game, right? So he took the shot and he missed it. Then Jordan proceeded to grab the rebound, took it the length of the floor, and scored on an easy layup with no defensive resistance. That cut the lead to 98-96. Then on the Phoenix next possession, they were swinging the ball, but they were struggling to find a shot. And then eventually Frank Johnson dribble penetrated and then kicked it out to an open Dan Marley who took a 16 footer that missed badly, right? So basically the Bulls grabbed the rebound and called for timeout with 10.4 seconds remaining. All right, they were down by 2 points. Now we get to the game-winning sequence. Okay, so the Phil Jackson ran a play that's called blind pig, which basically had to increase the next three thrust by bringing the ball three-fourths back from the basket. Right. So the initial plan was to get the ball to Jordan, get the ball back to Jordan, and see if he can break the defender down. Right. So Jordan inbound the ball. He inbounds the ball to Pippen, brings it back to Jordan. Right. Then he brings the ball up the court. Then he swings it as Pippen flashes to the middle of the floor. Right. But in a big moment that Charles Barkley would later on regret, he tried to go for the steal on the play and he missed badly. So he whiffed on the steal as Pippen got the pass from Jordan, right? Therefore, Pippen had an open lane to get to the cup to try to tie the game. Then he swung the pass to Horace Grant because he had an open layup underneath the baseline, right? Normally you would take the open layup, right? But remember, Horace Grant only scored 1 point the entire game, and he was basically 0 for 5 from the field. And normally he's not a good free throw shooter late in situations, considering that he only shot 60% from the free throw line in the series, right? So basically, John Paxson was basically left wide open in the left corner, right? Now, previously, Danny Ainge was basically watching over John Paxson, but because Charles Barkley gambled on the steal, Ainge was forced to come out and help to stop Pippen on the penetration. Then when he saw, Grant wide open, he tried to commit the foul on Horace Grant to send him to the free throw line, not to allow him to get the shot off, right? But Grant, on the corner of his eye, saw John Paxson wide open on the left-handed elbow area of the three-point line with nobody in sight, and he could pretty much write a book all day with the amount of space he had. He had the open look with no hesitation, released the ball, and went right down the net. I can vividly remember B.J. Armstrong on the right side of the court, basically knowing that the shot was going in, just going out, just falling back in front of the Phoenix bench because he knew. And I can remember Dan Marley underneath the basket, you know, basically throwing his hands down in disgust, like, man, you guys, we left a wide open John Paxson for a game winning 3 point shot. And without hesitation, the ball went right down the net. Bulls take a 1 point lead with 7 and 9 10 seconds, with actually 3.5 seconds remaining in that fourth quarter, right? So the last play the Phoenix Suns ran, right? They basically tried to run a circle, basically an isolation off of the top of the circle for Charles Barkley, but the Bulls read the play, right? So then they had to adjust. So Oliver Miller caught the inbound pass, brought it back to Kevin Johnson, and he triple penetrated, tried to get a floater on the inside, right? But Horace Grant, playing that good help defense like he normally does, read the play all the way and rejected the shot as the time expired. Game over, series over, and the Bulls went on to win their third straight championship, joining the Minneapolis Lakers of the 50s and the Celtics of the 60s to win three in a row. All right. And sadly for Charles Barkley, it was probably his best chance to win an NBA championship, as he never returned back to the finals ever again. All right. And after the series was concluded, Michael Jordan won the MVP award of the NBA Finals by setting a finals record 41 points a game during that series, which also includes the 55-point performance he had in Game 4 of that series as well. All right, and he became the first player to win three straight Finals MVP awards, joining the lights of Magic Johnson to win the award 3 straight times. All right, up until LeBron James completed that too. So this was a huge moment in Bulls history. If of all the championships that a lot of Bulls fans like myself enjoyed, the '93 championship has a special place because nobody anticipated the Bulls, even fresh off of a very dominant season of 67 regular season victories in 1992. Nobody expected them to win 3 straight in a row, considering how the Knicks improved, how the Suns improved, all right, and how all the other young teams that were starting to improve, all right. They beat all the odds and won their 3rd straight championship. And remember, in the documentary, Jordan had plans of retiring after '92, but because the three-peat was still in their grasp, he put off retirement for at least one more year to complete the three-peat. When he completed the three-peat, he flat out said he had nothing left to prove. And then it was escalated after his father's death months later. All right. I can remember, him and his father celebrating with each other in the post highlights, just embracing one another. He treated Michael viewed his father as like another as his top best friend. And his death completely changed him. It firmly did. But eventually he came back 18 months later, returned back to basketball, and led the Bulls to another 3 straight championships, to include with 6 championships in the 90s. All right. But certainly that game winning shot has huge meaning in the minds of many Bulls fans. All right. That might have been the most proudest moment for a Bulls fan. All right. And certainly that game winning shot is going to be remembered a lot in NBA history. People still talk about it even to this day, how Barkley's gamble on the steal led to a breakdown defensively. Look back on that play. If Barkley would have stayed back and played Pippen instead of trying to gamble for the steal, I don't think I think the Suns may have had a chance to basically hold the Bulls off. Now that's looking at it from a different perspective, working back on that. But I can see from Barkley's perspective, like, listen, I got to make a play or risk Pippen beat me off the dribble to go for the tie game. So certainly a lot of things did play into that moment, but Barkley's mistake led to the breakdown defensively, and when Paxson was wide open, it was game, set, and match. There was nothing the Suns could do to stop Paxson from hitting that game-winning shot. And certainly, it's still one of the greatest moments in NBA Finals, Vivi. But tell me what you guys think in the comments section.